Welcome back to N.E.R.D.S. I'm your host, Lucas, and joining me is my other host,
Zackary.
And today, Zackary will be needlessly, endlessly ranting dumb shit about...
how the tool of CR in D&D is, I think, commonly misused.
Fascinating. I'm actually quite intrigued with that. But before we get into that, of course, we have to talk about how we've been.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been, what, 2 weeks?
It's been about 2 weeks, if people don't know, who...
Explain it.
I'll explain it to the non-viewers that we have. Which
the non-believers.
The non-believers. Which I actually looked, the episode where we were catching up, 19 views.
19?
I'm not even kidding. Like, you can look at it right now. We have 19 views on that.
The analytics.
It might be 20 because I clicked on it to look at the views.
It's just me. I'm watching it 19 separate times.
No, I have not touched that video, so...
What the fuck?
Like, legit, we, for whatever reason, have...
Oh yeah, episode 16 has 8 views.
Yeah.
Wow. We haven't gotten a single like since episode 4.
We haven't, no. But we do have viewers, so hello, viewers. For those who don't know, we are doing it bi-weekly now as a recording, but you are still getting your weekly uploads as we are recording 2 episods.
Hopefully I'll start uploading mine on Monday
instead
of Wednesday, because I forgot.
Yep. But we are doing that because we just figured it would help us with a little more time to get some stuff done, which I think was very beneficial.
It's nice to just have a Monday to myself.
Same. Since Mondays and Tuesdays are usually my days off, it was nice to just kind of have Monday to not do anything.
Monday's usually my Friday nights, so I'm like, Mama gets to go out. I get to go party.
But yeah. With that though, how was your previous week?
2 weeks?
Your first week of the 2 weeks.
This is the issue, is I can't remember what I did the first week. Because Dragon Realms, we've only had 1 week since I took off the week, right?
Yes. Because...
or did we record?
Whenever your
My
boyfriend was sick.
See, it's like, I know we've done 1 Dragon Realm episodes, but it's been 2 weeks. So I'm like, where's the other Dragon Realms episode? It's been good so far. I'm still in that mood of just like super tired and not very motivated and not really wanting to do anything.
Motivation.
I think it's just the sun causing me stress.
Yeah.
It's just like overheating me, and I'm like, I don't want to do anything.
It's making you sluggish.
Yeah.
Being all hot.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it is around that time.
Other than that, though, Dragon Realms was super fun. We returned back. It's still confusing me time right now because we've had 2 weeks since we've met, but we've only done 1 Dragon Realm episode.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out where the other week was.
Well, we got back into Cyberpunk. Which that was.
But we only did that once.
No, we did that twice.
So then why haven't we had 2 Dragon Realm episodes? We didn't skip Dragon Realms.
I don't know. A lot of that's a blur, honestly.
Yeah, because that's like I've been sitting like all day trying to be like, okay, where did the other session go?
I genuinely don't know. I think it was after,
because we had episode 15, session 15. Then we took a week off because my boyfriend got sick. And then we've just done episode 16 last week.
I don't know. I don't know where that session went.
So I'm like, did we record our stuff? Wow, no, because I canceled that. It's like that's something like, unless it's only been a week since we recorded, but I know we had.
It's been 2 weeks since we recorded.
That's what's really fucking me up.
Yeah, our schedule's a little fucked.
And I'm just like, what is time? But Dragon Realms was fun. We are in the sewers right now. Slinking through the sewers.
I'm so excited to get through the sewers.
I'm so excited to prolong it. Because nothing in this capital is going to be quick or like finished quickly.
That is true. Yeah, I'm excited for us to kind of take the reins again Because last session, while very fun, was definitely, we've not played in a while, so everyone was very, very jokey and not in character a lot. So, which comes with the territory.
Yeah.
But
I'm excited about the boss you guys are going to fight.
Absolutely.
The story and getting back into it. We're not doing Cyberpunk this week.
No, we are not.
So I'm excited to kind of spend, not all of Tuesday, because we've got some other plans, but at least I've got other plans. At least the morning to plan out some stuff.
Yeah.
I've been craving rewatching Into the Spider-Verse.
Really? It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. Is that the first one?
Into the Spider-Verse is the first one.
Across the Spider-Verse.
And then Across the Spider-Verse is the second.
I want to watch both of them.
Yeah.
I mentioned it, I think, this weekend, or maybe last week.
Hopefully the third one should be coming out soon. Kind of wrap things up.
I mentioned about watching it, and my boyfriend was like, no. So, I'm going to really push for it tomorrow.
Got it.
Because I really want to watch those movies.
Mm.
But other than that, I finished 3 books in the last, I think, 2 weeks.
Nice.
I think I've talked about The Demon King last in my episode 16.
Yeah.
I finished that book, obviously. Then I finished the next 2 books. The Exiled Queen and The Grey Wolf Throne. Or The Grey Wolf Queen. Grey Wolf Throne. So I got 1 more book left.
There we go.
And that's finished, and then we're going to start Way of Kings together.
We are.
I don't know what I'm going to listen to at work. Because we're doing Ways of Kings together, like book club style.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what am I going to listen to at work?
Which, we need to set a day for that.
Yeah.
We might do our Tuesday mornings doing that.
Could possibly, yeah.
Because we need to meet up for Tuesday anyway, usually.
Yeah, for Cyberpunk.
So.
But otherwise, life is a doozy.
It's a roller coaster, baby.
It's a roller coaster. And I'm definitely hitting 5Gs. I pass out.
I just remembered something that happened to me this week that I can't talk on podcast about, but oh boy was I not expecting it to happen.
I'm so excited to learn about this
off
the podcast. I gotta make a note of this.
It was...
Or you gotta make a note of this.
We
gotta remember this.
We gotta remember this. It was heavy.
Oh, but how are you?
I am doing okay. I've mostly just, like how I've always been, working a lot. And am mad at Battlefield at the moment.
The street.
That's where the other location is. Mostly because of how they are treating my manager. They're trying to push her out. And like specifically 3 of them are trying to like push her out. And that's the same manager that has fully been okay with me taking 2 weeks off after my medical episode, has done everything for me to make sure I have my job, has given me a raise when I asked for it because she understood my financial plight. Like, this manager is the best manager I have ever worked with, and she has been so down in the dumps and hurt.
Damn.
Like, you can just tell that she's not okay. And it's because of these 3 people. Ugh. So I've been very upset with them. But there's not much I can do other than just tell Sarah, hey, if you need me, I'm here for you. Like, you've done it a lot for me. Use me if you need me.
Is there a corporate? Or is this like family owned?
It is a corporate. It's a chain restaurant. But the person above her is kudos with specifically one of those people has worked with them before, has worked with them for a long time, and will not just betray them for.
You keep going higher up.
That's what I'm thinking, because it's legit. Like, they push every new person that they get out. Like, they are bullies over there.
I mean, that's when you start talking to like higher ups, and you keep sending people up, mentioning unethical work relationships.
And I love her to death. She's got one of the most contagious laughs. She's a sweet little cinnamon roll who's just trying to look out for everyone else, who will put her foot down. I've seen her do it multiple times. She's not someone you just mess with.
Yeah.
But like she's a very kind person. So it's rough to see people just be mean to her for the sake of being mean.
Yeah.
You know?
We've got two options. If she quits, you follow her and you work where she works. The other option is you murder the 3 people. And I don't know, use them for omelets.
Use them for omelets?
Hey, it would fix 2 options. You've got trucking, you've got produce, and then you've just saved her life.
Our extra special sausage.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I think those are the 2, easy answers.
She's strong. I think she will manage. And she knows that the thing that we are asking her to do is basically full clean house that place, because we know we have enough of the manpower over our store. We can split ourselves in half and go there. Like, we are volunteering to do that. So she knows if she wants to do that, we got her back, and we'll figure it out. So
a coup is happening.
Something like that.
Rise against the...
But other than that, in terms of just things I've been doing, I mean, weekly obsessions, we'll get into that. But, just been writing, been doing my thing, getting into things that aren't my weekly obsessions, that I've already talked to you about, like the musical. And
I just love your musical.
I love my musicals, and for whatever reason, I've just been in a big musical kick. So
hey, they work. They're great.
I love them. I know not for whatever reason, everyone else around me is like, I don't really like musicals, and then I'm just over here like, but they're cool though.
I find it harder to find people who enjoy musicals.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's just like, that's very... It's already a niche kind of part of theater. That's already a niche part of society.
Yeah. But I really enjoy them. I love, because they mix my 2 favorite things, which is quality music mixed with great storytelling. Yeah. At least with the good musicals. So, good is subjective. But, yeah.
Well, you want to talk about your weekly obsession?
Weekly obsession. So, talking about weekly obsession for the first week, we have started playing Baldur's Gate.
No! That was my weekly obsession!
What else have we been doing?
Okay, so our weekly obsession.
So this is a good discussion.
Yes. Damn it, I was going to talk about that.
Is we've been playing Baldur's Gate together.
Yeah.
And it's been really, really fun.
It's the first time that I've ever seriously played with someone in Baldur's Gate. Because we've done, like me, you, I think another one of our friends, maybe 2 of our friends. And we got to the small little goblin, like the Blighted Village. But it was very jokey, a lot of like, I would say fuckery that led to a lot of shenanigans.
Yeah.
But this... Like, it's just me and you. I've got Will. Yep. And you've got Karlak.
I do have Karlak. My bae. My girl.
I've never played with Will, so I'm learning to love him. Though there's really not much that has happened that you don't already get naturally.
Again, his story is more Act 3.
Yeah. It's kind of the same with Astarion. Like, you don't get a lot of his stuff until, like, kind of towards Act 2, end of Act 2. When you do, like, the Gauntlets of Shar, and you can do the whole quest, so... I'm used to waiting. I'm just kind of like, well, everything I've mostly gotten with Will, I've kind of already... You get naturally in the story anyways. But there's a few things where I'm like, oh! Like, when you, kill the Goblin Camp, and not save the Tieflings, but, like, let the Tieflings leave, the little celebration. Will has a cute moment where he's like essentially moping by the river. He's like, I don't want to ruin everybody's celebration.
That's so fun.
And you're like, it's not anything without you, though.
He's so cute.
I'm liking him.
He's a tragic character.
Yeah.
As most of them are. But Will's tragedy is something that you actually experience, while the rest of them are, like, you know, either happen way later on or, like, you know, you learn about beforehand and stuff like that. Like, no, you are with Will from the moment his tragedy starts to the moment it ends.
Yeah.
And I think the only other person that is like, the only other character that is like that is Karlach and Astarion.
Kind of, but Astarion stuff is like already happened. It's just his plot, his arc is something's going to happen. If anything, I'd say Karlach and Lae'zel.
Yeah.
She's captured, ripped away from her society. Like, we meet her when everything hits. Because her background is just, I'm a Githyanki, I've done my Githyanki stuff, and now I'm just experiencing a whole new alien world and society.
Which I'm kind of wanting to now, like, really start a playthrough, like, where I delve into Lae'zel's story. Because I've started a solo playthrough as well, which I'm having a blast with. Because I don't know, it's just been hitting right now. I'm playing myself as a two long sword fighter. And you know, my party setup is Shadowheart, Gale, and Will. Okay. But I've been trying to do everyone's quests. Yeah. That includes like Astarion, Lae'zel, and Karlach. So I'm trying to do literally everyone's quests. Yeah. So I started, you know, this is the first time I've ever gone near the mountain pass and fought the Githyanki over there. Was with this character. So
you didn't save that for us?
I didn't. I knew we were going to get there, but I don't know. I was just playing around, and I was like,
and we'll be getting. We don't have anything else in the Underdark.
Nope. So we'll be heading there.
Like that's the next spot.
We are killing them. I don't care if we can successfully be like, no, go away. We are killing them. I have a grudge.
Killing who?
The Githyanki.
Why?
Because they suck. I have a grudge.
There's no reason to kill them. It's like killing the tieflings.
Well, no. Them specifically, if you, like, you can have Lae'zel, like, lie for you, and then her deception check will go, and it will either succeed or fail. Each time I reloaded, because they kept killing me, it would fail. So
I don't know who you're specifically talking about, because you can go through the entire camp normally. The only person you fight is the
I haven't gone into the mountain pass yet. I've met the Githyanki at the bridge.
Yeah, that's an auto. I've never seen someone persuade your way through, because every time I've successfully persuaded, they don't care. They still fight you.
You have to have Lae'zel with you.
I had Lae'zel because I played a Githyanki. Even then I succeeded and they still fought me. Okay, I thought you were talking about like actually in the mountain pass the Githyanki crash.
I haven't
fighting them.
No, I haven't done that yet.
Well, yeah, that fight is almost a guaranteed. Because even then, I swear when I played my Githyanki, because it was me, of course, I was romancing Lae'zel as a Githyanki. I think I still I still succeeded the persuasion check, but Lae'zel then is like, oh shit, they're lying. Because if she has like an inside check. And then from their moment, he's like, they're intruder, betrayers, kill them. And you're like, I thought I persuaded you. Because like, there's either essentially the choice where you give the artifact, which I think if you do, they still try to kill you because it's like, oh, why do you have it? Or you don't give the artifact and he's like, you're hiding something from us, kill them. Yeah. I was like, no matter what, it always feels like you have to fight them.
For me,
but yeah, that fight
it's a rough fight.
Level 5, both actions, on top of all of them being essentially Battle Master fighters.
No, I have a grudge because there was a moment where I was fighting them, and I had just barely defeated them. Gale was the only one left alive, and he only survived because I clouded daggers at the right moments and got them good. And you know what happens immediately next? He walks into his own cloud of daggers and dies.
Oh my god.
So it was game over after immediately after I fucking defeated them.
Jesus. Yeah, that fight's rough. The first time I fought it was really fucking difficult. I know the Lae'zel fight, when I was a Githyanki, that's when I spawned the Spectator. I just had them fight the Spectator.
Oh, nice.
But that's definitely a must fight.
So if you... I was playing a human. If you're not Githyanki, and you let Lae'zel take charge of the conversation, there's a moment where you can persuade Lae'zel to lie for you. And then she will make a deception check, and that will succeed or fail.
I still feel like I did that, but maybe I didn't. I don't know, because I was like, I want to try to persuade my way. It's cool. I've always fought them. I'm Githyanki, she's Githyanki.
And then I noticed that the dude was lying about going to Vlaakith and reporting to her. But usually, like, if she failed in the deception check, they would fight. If she succeeded, they would just leave.
Interesting.
It's interesting because they don't have me roll the deception check for her. It's just auto-rolled. Like, it's in the corner, deception check failed or succeeded.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting encounter. And there was a time after, like, the 5th time I was ready to fight them where it succeeded. And she was like... They were like, great, okay, we'll see you later then. And he flies off, and they all run off, and I'm like, you've killed me enough times where I just kind of want to kill you now, so...
Oh, they're a great experience.
Yeah, they're a great experience.
But yeah, no.
And there's some great loot, too.
Oh, yeah. I think you were talking about, like, the Githyanki crash. I was like, why are we murdering them?
No.
If we were going... Actually, we have no reason, because I think she's already dead.
Who?
Saza is there, if you save her. And I know there's a couple other goblins there, but if you save her, I think that's the next location, or maybe she's somewhere else. Gotcha. I know there's like 3 or 4 goblins that are gonna die in a cutscene unless you like attack the 3 Githyanki. But yeah, we've been playing Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, our playthrough's been really fun.
I'd say we've done a good playthrough.
Yeah, mostly a good playthrough. We've been helping everybody.
Yeah, I don't know why we're doing Will as a paladin, and he's gotten Oathbreaker twice for breaking his oath. I really don't know why.
The Oath of Ancients, I have no idea. The Oath of Devotion, I could kind of see. I think
because we killed the 2 smugglers.
Yeah.
That's when it broke. Because I went to loot.
Yeah, because we didn't save them. We fought them.
We fought them, and that broke his oath. And then we fought...
and then we started fighting the Duergards while they were Oath of Ancients paladin. And
Oath of Ancients was... Oh no, it was Duergar.
Yeah, we were fighting the Duergar in the Underdark.
Saving the gnomes.
And it, for whatever reason, broke the oath again.
Yeah.
Which, if it was Oath of Devotion, I don't think it would have broke.
I just don't think it matters which oath you choose. I think they all break under certain things.
I think they do too. Which, Oathbreaker Paladin is still cool. I don't think it's a bad class at all.
No, Ancient had a cool, like, AoE heal.
And we don't really have a... I am the party healer.
I think I'm just going to turn him Cleric and let you possibly switch up your Bard around if you want.
There's not much to switch around in Bard. Bard has a lot of just, like, either support or control spells.
And that's Bard.
Bards are
really not damage healers.
I'm perfectly fine with Mori just kind of playing the support role at the moment.
Maybe just less healing.
Like,
pick up a fun other spell or something.
Possibly, but a lot of like the charms and stuff don't really help like in combat, you know?
Yes, but I honestly enjoy it more because it feels what I think is technically supposed to happen. Like when you charm someone, they're not friendly to the entire group of people. It's
they're
like
just friendly to
you,
and
they can still attack your allies.
Yeah.
So much of TTRPG is like, if you charm him, he's an ally to your entire group, and it's like, well, that's why I feel like charm feels so much more powerful in TTRPG.
And that's fair. I will say, if you do make him into a cleric, I'm probably just going to make Mori into a full warlock then, because I'd rather be more that than just you know.
You will. A lot of your items are based on healing, though, but that's fine.
But I can give that to Will, so that's fine.
Will still keep his armor.
Well, my armor doesn't do the healing. It's the amulet and the rings that do a lot of that. My armor gives temp HP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And like, I'll probably just like switch it up and take what is it called? Medium adept, where I can wear medium armor. You know, so then I can just kind of change my armor up anyway. So it's, you know, if we want to do that, that's fine.
Warlock, you can't wear armor, can you?
You wear light armor.
Okay.
But with the medium adept feat, I can wear medium armor and have proficiency with it. So, and I think it also allows me to have shields if I want. I usually, when I'm playing Will as a warlock, like the blade warlock, I usually have him take that feat so he can wear medium armor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Most clerics all clerics have light and medium, and then some give you heavy.
Yeah, some give heavy.
Which I feel like most clerics give you heavy. I don't think Arcane does, but it feels like...
Arcane and Trickster do not.
Yeah, I know Life, War, like a lot of the other ones give you heavy.
Which is great. Which is fun, because Will can just keep with his... Because he can also still have his radiant damage stuff. Like
yeah, I mean, he still has his hammer that does radiant, so...
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate's been really fun. We've done, I'd say, fully a good playthrough. We haven't... I don't know. I feel like the smugglers aren't really good.
I would say neutral good.
Well, we've done mostly... I don't really think we've anything that's not been good. The two smugglers, I would say, is more of a moral question of, you know, two people smuggling...
I mean, they're the two assholes.
Yeah, like, do you really think they're good people, or do you think they're bad?
And to be fair, we were stealing their shipment that they were supposed to. Yeah. And that's why they attacked us.
Kill me for that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to kill you for it. But that's the only thing I think we've done questionably bad. Save the gnomes, because the Durgar.
No, we've mostly been playing pretty damn good.
We'll have to see where it goes Githyanki route, because I've never actually gone that route.
I've not gone that route either, so I have no idea.
I flushed out the Crash, which we'll have to do. Which, Crash is super small if you miss the hidden area.
Gotcha.
Essentially, it's just you walk in, and it's just like a camp. There's like really nothing to do, but there's a broken window you jump up, and that's the entire like vertical path with puzzles and the blood of like sand deer. So,
gotcha. I'm excited. To do the mountain pass because I've not done that. I've always gone through the Underdark. So
they fixed a thing which is one of the merchants wants a Githyanki egg, and if you gave it to her, she would just leave. And she's like the only merchant in the mountain pass, and so it's just like, well, you had some pretty good stuff, so they fixed it where she stays.
Okay, good.
Which is nice. So
good.
Yeah, I guess that's our weekly obsession.
Yeah,
because that was mine.
Well,
like Baldur's Gate.
Hey, that's a good one though.
It is. No, I've been excited to play it. We haven't really played over the weekends.
No, we've both kind of been busy.
I've not. I've just been depressed.
Oh, that's fair. I've been busy throughout the weekend.
I've just laid in my own wallow. Wallowed in my own wallow.
Do you need to talk about it?
No.
Okay.
It's just the summer.
Yeah, I get it.
I hate the summer. But, anything else?
I think that's it.
Wonderful.
Move on to the topic.
So the reason I want to specifically talk about how I think CR as a tool has been misused is because we could sit here and rant about how much we don't like CR, but I think it's because most people use it wrong, or I don't say culturally. Normally, it's seen as a, you know, one tool fits all, just use CR kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it's not how I use it. I don't think that's how other people should use it. CR, like everything else in D&D, is a basis to go off of.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, you have to do this number, and if you don't do this number, then, you know, everything's fucked, and if you do the number and they, kill it super easily. Everybody's overpowered.
Mm-hmm.
CR, I think, is a wonderful tool to help you gauge combat, but also to guide combat in certain directions. In D&D, CR is what is called challenge rating. It's a numerical system that is essentially used to determine a enemy or player's difficulty. Players' CR is based on their level. So right now in Dragon Realms, you guys are 5th level. You guys would be CR 5. That's how you figure out things like polymorph. And then, creatures... CR can range from the beginning 4 numbers, essentially, which is 0, 1/8, 1/4, 1/2. And then from there it goes from 1 up until 30.
Yeah.
There's no, quarter marks or half. It's just the first, 8th, 4th, and half. Ranging from 0 to 1/4 essentially are your small, actual beast creatures, cats, dogs, horses, and then I think goblins are 1/4. Or are they 1/2?
I think goblins are 1/2. And that's just normal goblins.
That's just normal goblins.
Yeah, because they have HP of 7 or.
Goblins are 1/4. I thought they were. Goblins are because you can essentially one-shot them. And they could theoretically kind of one-shot you at first level.
Yeah. Because they can do enough damage.
Yeah. But most of the, anything essentially till 1 is going to be a lot of really weak based creatures. Goblins, like I said before, a lot of beast are 1/4. There's really not a lot in that range of things to deal with. And then from 1 forward, you get into just a range of difficulties. Classically, liches are CR 22, beholders I think are 20,
something like that.
Trasks I think are around 30. And then dragons range from low 20s to mid to high 20s. I know young and adults are around 20s.
I know there are some. No, there's not even some creatures that go into CR 30. It's very, very rare that CR 30 is even.
Yeah, because once you hit CR 25,
it's kind of ridiculous.
I think it's just. Trask is the only one I really know off the top of my head. And we are not really talking about homebrew, because homebrew can get into a wide range.
Mess,
I've seen CRs up to 40 or 50.
Actual published content.
Yeah. But yeah. Normally, CR is seen as a very failed system, which is, when you're building combats for your players, either CR is incredibly weak, which is what I find the majority of the time, 90% of the time, is that the CR base for my party is 1/4 of what it should be. You guys could 2-shot these enemies. Essentially, combat would be 2 rounds and then we're done. Or it's the 10% of the time, which is, this is super difficult for you guys at low levels, essentially. And I think that's where it switches, is at low levels, CR is almost overpowered of, a party might theoretically be able to handle 5 or 6 goblins, but then they start one-shotting players. And then once we hit around level 3 to 4, it really flips, which is CR almost becomes useless if you use it classically.
Yeah. I have my own problems with CR. I used to use CR, the whole one-shot with the gnolls was because I was this is CR1, so it should be fine.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being, one gnoll has been way too difficult for this party to handle.
Yeah.
So it's a problem with people are thinking CR should be used as balancing, and that is what it is supposed to be used as, but that doesn't account for the type of builds that your party is going for.
Yeah.
So that's the weapons, armors, and stuff like that they have. So it's problematic in a way to just continuously rely on CR. I don't think it's necessarily bad as long as your party is well rounded for it.
So that's what I'm saying is it's because I don't think anything in I haven't fully read the DM guide, but that's something I would like to look. Ooh. It's something I would like to go back and look on. Is does it say anywhere that CR is a set thing? You have to do this. You have to do that. Because in no instance does it ever feel like that is a like you said before, a set thing that it is used to determine, exactly what yours should be. Because the entire DM's guide essentially is just, here are some things that you might want to use, but as a DM, to take your own things. We've given you some stat blocks, but feel free to change them.
I don't think it's ever supposed to be taken as this is what you must do, because that's in all of the books. Are they like, hey, you can do whatever you want with this, change it however you want. This is your game of D&D. We do not care if you follow our rules.
Yeah.
I think CR is more to help newer players get a gauge on what is a good level for a party, a 4 party member balanced encounter for a fighter, rogue, wizard, and cleric.
Yeah.
Because that's mostly what the basis is on.
Kind of. I don't think it's that specific. Because you can do CR for... that's what I've been doing, CR for a mostly martial party with no healing. Because where the lack of healing comes in, most members then have more HP.
Yeah.
Because they're going more martial.
Yeah, we're much more of a tanky party.
Yeah, so I don't really have to crazily focus on okay, they don't have healers, they don't have forms of healing. It's no, it's because 3 of my party members can take double the amount of damage that a normal kind of party would be able to sustain. But that's why I say CR is not bad or broken. It's just people use it, I think, wrong, which is, like you said before, instead of using it to guide your combats, people try to use it to balance or to determine what exactly you're supposed to do. Which I don't know how that ever became a thing, because every single TTRPG book is fundamentally, here are my rules, but feel free to break them.
Yeah.
Nothing is serious. So I don't know why CR became this sort of known, it's broken, it's horrible, because it doesn't ever feel like it fits right, and I'm doing it exactly how the calculation should be. I'm that's not how anything ever works in a TTRPG.
I know what you mean, because I've seen a few videos of people talking about CR in this kind of same way.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's not supposed to be taken as this literal... It's you take it as a guide, not as this is what exactly it is.
The calculations that they give you is supposed to be here's your range, here's some math to help you, because I still use the calculations all the time. Okay, what are my players' levels at? What's the XP range? Which I have up here. So at a 5th level party, my trivial is 275 XP per person. My extreme would be 1,375. So that's a big range, but it gives me a clear kind of definition of, okay, add 4 of those and equal, and that's sort of my experience range. If I want to have, a CR4 monster that's got a certain amount of XP, and then maybe I'll throw in some extra people, which is supposed to increase the difficulty. I have learned that unless you start adding more than the amount of party members in monsters, rarely does it change the difficulty. But even here in the DM's guide, they give you a range of experience to base your CR off of. It's not just, here's this, do you want to do this? It's, do you want a easier fight? Maybe this is the range that you can go based off of. If you want a more harder fight, this is the range you can go based off of.
Yeah.
And then monsters have their CR, which is a number, but usually the CR determines the experience. That's kind of what CR is mostly used for.
Yeah.
Is okay if you go to CR 2, this is how much experience you give.
I will say the reason why I brought up the like fighter, rogue, wizard, cleric thing is because when you think of a normal like D&D party, you think of a tank, a skill monkey, a control, and a healer.
Yeah.
And that's mostly what I believe in the very beginning, because you got to remember that CR, especially in the very beginning of 5e, it was calculated mostly with that kind of party comp in mind.
Yeah.
Which is, to my knowledge, not usually how a normal D&D party is nowadays.
Yeah, because I mean that's the classic 70s, 80s D&D, which is a 4-party member. Usually I find that a lot of the parties don't tend to be 4 players. It's either 3 or 5. It's weird to have a 4-party, which we do, but it's the first time we've ever played in a party that, at least I have, that has been 4 people.
I agree.
It's usually 3, or you have 5 members, and at that point you start adding in the weird, or you start losing, which is kind of what I feel like we have. You start losing parts of that, like we don't really have a healer. We have 3 marshals and a druid rogue mix, so it's kind of it's kind of spelly, but not much.
I'm technically a skill monkey in a weird way.
Kind of, yeah.
I have a lot of skills as a blood hunter, but that's because I've been focusing on getting a lot of skills.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why I think CR is. That's why I named it this way. It's CR. It should be used to help determine the path you kind of want to go. Not define the path, but say, hey, I want a really difficult boss fight, or I want a really difficult encounter. What should I be looking for? Because that's also the hard part, even for experienced DMs, going, I have 4 level 5 party members. There are some of the classic enemies I could throw at you guys, but obviously, as a DM, you want to throw in the fun, never seen before.
Yeah.
So how do you start looking for those people? I need some basis to look around CR ratings to see, because I can't search. I theoretically could, but I can't search through hundreds of monsters to find the one that somehow fits. Compared to going, hey, search round 3, 4, 5 CR for this boss. Okay, if it's pretty cool, maybe I'll throw in 1 or 2 because maybe this is more of a tank boss. Because, not switching topics, but moving a little bit, you've mentioned it before, the DM really has to see what their party comp is and then figure out what they want the enemies to be. Because you can, if, like I've done before, if we've got a very martial party, I tend to throw very martial enemies at you guys.
Yep.
And if I throw spellcasting enemies at you guys, it has to be in a way that you guys don't just get to one-shot them, which is an issue at times, but I think that's just, class versus class fighting. It doesn't really feel the same.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, especially when we get into these higher levels, like lower level, I would say we definitely dominate the spellcasters at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
But when we start getting into those real high levels, spellcasters are going to be a problem.
They can, but there's also nothing stopping you guys from possibly, 3-4 shotting them. That's the issue with spellcasting. That's a slightly different topic. I do want to talk about modifying monsters towards the end of the episode. But back to party comp. I lost my train of thought. Sorry. DMs have to worry about party comp. And in the opposite way, it's a fun way of dealing with, enemy comp is, and I think that's what CR helps with, is, okay, I want a very beefy boss, but I want to also throw in some fun stuff. What's some smaller, low-level CR that can help balance this out? And I'm not specifically being like, I have a CR 4, I've got 200 XP left, I can do 3 CR 1/2, a CR 4th. honestly, if you want to do that, go to Warhammer, because that's kind of how Warhammer is.
Mm-hmm.
Which maybe that's where the kind of stipulation comes from, because Warhammer is very much, you have a certain number of points to build your enemy, your comp. You just have to fill it out how you want to fill it out.
Mm-hmm.
But what was I thinking? Monster comp is very fun. I think that's where a DM can excel in experience, is by figuring out and showing a balanced encounter using different monster comps. Because, like you said before, actually, I don't know if we've ever talked on this pod. It's something I found, and it's something I talked to you about, is the three, triangle rule of damage, speed, and then AC or health.
Yeah.
You kind of have to choose two. If a monster is very quick on its feet and deals a lot of damage, it can't have a lot of HP. If a monster has a lot of HP and does a lot of damage, it has to be kind of a slow-moving monster.
Yeah.
And then, it can be very a lot of HP, a lot of speed, but not a lot of not a lot of damage. So that's where I think where unfortunately CR slightly fails at. The same reason why party CR I think fails is because when you compare two CRs, rarely does it feel balanced. A level 5 barbarian doesn't feel the same as a level 5 wizard.
Definitely not.
They might have one-ups on each other in certain things. A wizard might be able to do some more damage or might be able to control more. But usually when you're building encounters, you're mostly planning for damage output, length of fight, because you don't want a fight to be 2 rounds and then be like, well, that was my boss, and it took you guys 2 rounds to kill it. We've experienced those fights.
We have.
And it's been very unfulfilling if it's just like, oh, he's dead. Well, second phase! And I think that's at times where I struggle with CR is, okay, this monster is a CR4, and it has some really cool abilities. Maybe it doesn't have a lot of HP, but does a lot of damage. And then I look at another CR4, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like would be any challenge towards you all. And the only reason it's CR4 is because it's got,
this one ability that can paralyze or something.
Yeah, or a spell that's it's got 2 uses of fireball. And I'm like, great. I don't really think this feels like a CR4. Which moves into the next topic. Yeah. Unless you have anything else to say. I don't really know. I feel like I'm just rambling.
This is the Needless Endless Rant.
This is a rant.
Podcast, baby.
Oh, while I have this up, okay. I talked about XP Threshold, which has been, for me, critical in figuring out how to plan combats.
Yes.
I did it in our summer campaign where I ran a very Lord of the Rings inspired. That's when I first hit the wall of using CR how it's not meant to be used, which is exact calculations. I would type in, okay, I've got 4 or 5 members, this level, this is my XP, limit, this would be deadly. Alright, I've got this boss, which is this much HP, 3 zombies, which is this much XP, and then literally trying to hit 0, and then being like, alright, that's a balanced encounter, and then you guys would just steamroll encounters, and I was like, okay. So Dragon Realms has been very fun because it's been a mixture of using CR, but also just looking at a monster character sheet and being like, nah, this feels good. A lot of the enemies we fought, there's very few enemies I have planned with CR.
Yeah.
One being the Drake Salamanders. That was the CR plan. Because I built those.
That was a fun fight.
Because I usually find CR's ratings, there's monsters with a CR rating, and then edit them into what I think is a balanced, but change differently. I think I went off of Drake's. Or maybe I went off of Behir's.
I think you went off Behir's, because they acted and looked a lot like Behir's.
Yeah, but I think I lowered them a little bit, because Behir's are much higher challenge rating, but also changed some of their effects.
Yeah.
Keeping that sort of similar balance.
It was very fun.
I love that fight. But some fights are really just I think this will be fine. I think it's enough damage output. I think it's enough health. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And we've definitely done some fights like that where it's been very fun, but it's also not been very like the Pool Husk Frostborn. That was a combat so cool. I did not like technically CR plan. I was just like, this looks cool. I feel like he does too much damage because he has like an aura that dealt like 3d6 cold when you hit him. His his attack, he did like a bile throw, which is like 3d10 bludgeoning, 3d10 cold, 3d10 poison. And just intuitively, I was like, I know this is too much.
Yeah.
Let me edit him to what I think feels important and feels deadly enough, and then I think that works. Which moves on to my next point. There's a reason I was talking about this. For those that aren't listening, the CR list...
For those that aren't listening.
I'm glad you caught on
just caught that.
The CR list is important to look at.
Mm-hmm.
I feel what should have been more popular and should have been more... not stigmatized. Should have been more used as a DM tool and talked about more is the monster creation table.
I fully agree.
Because that table gives you a list of CRs.
Yep.
It gives you proficiency bonus, and then it gives you the next 4 tabs is a range of things.
Yes.
A range of ACs. If you want a monster to hit really hard, they say, okay, CR, we'll use CR 5s, because that's what we are.
Yes.
Proficiency bonus of 3. An AC of 13 to 16, which is what our party is. I think one person's 17, but they have a +1 armor.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm about to get 17.
Oh no, Keone has it.
Oh shit. I'm about to get 17 though.
You're about to get 17, but we've got 2 party members are AC 16, and we have a party member AC 15.
Yep.
Average HP for 5th level, they say 75 to 90. Obviously, this is for monsters, so there's a little bit more. But we just fought a monster with 75 HP. That clear ooze that we fought in the sewers. They say to hit, and this is what I think is really good, determining how much damage output you want per turn, because to hit really isn't super important. It's good to know. My rule of thumb is you want to take the average of your AC, and that should be the average group of the ACs. If you're running for like a normal balanced fight, if you're running a challenging boss fight, take that person with the highest AC and figure out from 10 to their number, and that should be around the 2 hit. So that way it gives you a sort of average roll. If I'm trying to make a very difficult boss fight, Keone's got 17 AC.
Absolutely.
The creature should have a +7, so if I roll average, I should be able to hit Keone. Which, on this, it says +5 to +7, so we're already in that sort of range of more likely you're going to hit, and then we'll see what damage output is. And I think for damage output, 25 to 30, which can be in one attack, which is always what I enjoy building combats is, does this creature hit multiple times? Is it the speed and damage, or is it just damage and then health? Because if it hits once, then it needs to hit fucking hard. And you also need to not hit one person over and over. You need to spread the love. Or does it do 3-4 attacks and only do, 5-6 points of damage per attack and spread that around everybody? Because this is in the monster manual. Because it gives you a whole, it gives you this monster creation list, and it says, I know there's a greater list of when you're building monsters, try to choose 1 or 2 of these traits, and they're the classic monster traits of innate spell casting, blank and blank, magic immunity, or not immunity, but magic resistance, and other things, natural AC kind of things like that. But this tends to be what I use more of, which is, I want to build an easy fight, like we did I think they're technically called slithering trackers, is what I based.
Oh, interesting.
The thing off of.
I thought they were almost like a gray slime or something.
Which that's how essentially a slithering tracker is kind of based off of. I pulled it up. Yeah, I mostly used it. The only thing I changed was its transparent trait. Which is another thing. I love changing monster stats.
Yeah.
There's something kind of so being like, I don't like this ability, or I wish it did something different. Just change it.
I mean, in the topic of like building monsters and everything like that, God, did I not take like CR rating into any consideration whenever I was building any of my bosses.
There was a lot of bosses that were really too powerful sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I would say within the later like times, when third campaign especially is when I struck the good balance of like monsters that like were, you know, a good challenge, but were good. Like,
I mean the what do we call him? The Stone Guardian, or he was the Temple Guardian.
He was the Temple Guardian.
That was a really great fight. Yeah, towards campaign 3, I don't think we really had any boss fights that were not expectingly difficult. Campaign 1, we had a lot of issues where I was like, okay, this boss is just kicking our ass.
But that was also because I was using a different type of like way to build them that was more focused on Arcadum's way of building his bosses, and I don't follow him anymore because he's terrible. But I was really excited about the concept of what that like could do, because you know how I like to run my D&D. I like D&D but with a twist. You know, there's not, you know, there's only been a few times where I've ran monsters by the book, like the Baldur fight.
Yeah.
That was the only one that I ran.
And he ate our fucking ass.
Yes, he fucking did.
You know, it wasn't petrified. What was the disintegrate ray?
Disintegrate ray.
Just weirdly, I'm the opposite. Well, not technically. I run a lot of things by the book, but I also, my book is edited. You know, I'm not making crazy monsters yet. I don't think we've hit a level where I felt comfortable enough to do them. But a majority of the monsters you guys do fight either has been edited or has just been completely made up in my book, basing it off of, I don't want to say particularly CR specifically, but just the CR monster creation table of this is about what I want the damage to be, this is about the health I want it to be. You know, if I want it to be a much harder fight, then maybe I'll add, you know, a dozen or so more HP.
For sure.
If I want more enemies, then I will lessen it, but maybe keep damage.
I've just learned, especially in my campaigns, your guys' damage output can get fucking nutty.
Yeah.
So you know, I like my battle arenas. You know, I like my, you know, one big monster versus the entire group, because I come from a JRPG loving, you know, thing. So, I would usually think of a concept of what kind of monster I wanted. The Guardian fight was super fun.
I will be using that mini.
I hope to God you do. So for the Guardian fight, I built him based solely on that mini.
Yeah.
I won't lie. I liked his look enough, but I was like, I want something more than just what the, you know, actual monster of this is.
I find that every single time I look at a monster stat block for a mini I just bought, I'm like, this is boring. Like, it feels just like it's got a bite attack, a hammer attack. I'm like, where's the mini I bought that we're gonna get into? The monster stat for it, A, is so fucking high.
Oh yeah.
The CR I think is like close to mid-20s or around that range. But I was like, its stat block is literally just like bite, you know, gurgle, or like some type of. A lot of monsters very high CR monsters tend to have some type of breath weapon or some type of like AoE attack spell, which is very weird that a lot of high CR rating creatures tend to have some sort of thing like that.
Yeah. Well, I find that like they have that because honestly, there's not a lot of monsters that have like ranged attacks.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them have good hit melee attacks, but like if you've noticed with each monster that each boss specifically as well, that I have made, I've given them a ranged attack. Because I'm like, there needs to be a way for them to hit when they're not up close, because
that's
party's going to try to get away, and they can't let that happen.
I've done that with almost every single one. The Drake Salamanders had... That was very fun. I enjoyed... I gave them a lightning bolt ability, and then I gave them the... Well, I gave them... What did I think it was also called lightning bolt, but I gave them like a one-target lightning dart, essentially, and then they had the main mama had the lightning bolt spell, which was that giant line of AoE damage. The Pool House Frostborn did its little throw up.
Yeah. For me, the Guardian, I loved his range attack.
Yeah.
Because he had like so the Guardian was this like stone construct that I had come up with, and his mini is based off of this like very tall, thin, no-faced like statue person with a like a open mouth in the middle of where his stomach is supposed to be, and a large hammer. For viewers at home, you can look up what that looks like or whatever. I don't remember the name of what the original monster is.
I can't remember what it is either.
But he's supposed to kind of be like this stalker throughout, like, you know, like temples and stuff. He's supposed to be this like weird boss monster, but he didn't have any ranged attack. So what I did is like, okay, he's this stone like weird construct. And he has this weird central mouth that I want to play around with. I played a lot of video games. What do they do with, like, they have a big mouth to mess with? Fuck it, they're gonna, you know, spit giant boulders at you guys. And his like main recharge ability that I had for him was he would literally suck up a person if they failed their saving throw, and then spit them out as somebody else.
Which happened a few times.
And it was really cool.
Yeah.
And then both of them would take the damage.
Yeah. No, yeah, recharge. That's what I was trying to think about. Recharge ability. Yeah, there's not enough like range, especially in our party now. We have both a tiefling with wings. We have a monk who has a climb speed, and we have a druid who prefers wild shaping in combat.
Yep. And then I have a crossbow.
And you have a crossbow. We have a party that enjoys engaging and then quickly disengaging. So a lot of my enemies, you know, I'm not building big, giant, slow enemies because you guys are fucking quick. And you guys prefer to stay out of the close range. And so I have a lot of enemies that are like, oh, no. Either here's a zap or here's a this or that. Or what I also enjoy is encasing you guys where you can't leave. The Pool Husk was a fun combat because it was just a flat area. There really wasn't much like escaping from these creatures. So
yeah, I mean, range for me allowed me to, like, because I have a problem with, if this thing only has melee and then the one barbarian rushes up and is just in combat with it and you can't get away from the one barbarian.
Yeah.
The ranged option allowed me to focus on the other people that were keeping a range, like Silavana or like Shoko. Because I could be like, haha, you think you're out of my range, but you're not. You know? And fuck with them.
It's very fun. And then, but yeah, I use the monster creation table almost exclusively. And I think you mentioned it, or you at least brought the idea up. The more experienced you get, the less you require it, because it's almost kind of built in you.
Yeah. So a thing I used to measure, because I didn't have that table. I didn't even know it existed for a long time. But the thing I used to kind of like keep a balance on encounters was on the DM screen, like a normal one. There is a range of damage.
Yeah.
You know, and it'll tell you the level based on a D10. You know, from like 1 to 4 levels, a 1d10 is a deadly thing to happen. You know, and then so on and so forth for the other levels. So I would base my encounters off of, okay, what is the damage output I
Yeah.
want for what these attacks are. How much attacks do I want this creature to be able to do? Mm-hmm. Does it have legendary actions so it can even do more damage, Because that's the thing with D&D is it's mostly about damage output in battles, Like, control is good. Control can be very good.
I think classically it's true if you're building combats to be about damage. We've done a lot of combats that have not been necessarily damage based, where it's been more of, okay, once you get rid of this enemy, or if you bring the enemy at a certain level, then it's no longer necessary. Yes, combat is about damage because it's what combat stands for.
Yeah,
you can't a social conflict isn't going to need initiative and abilities and attack rolls to not satisfy, but to resolve. You only do combat when it is fighting and damage. But that's where I think a lot of people, or at least a lot of new DMs, fall into the issue of doing combat only damage wise and not letting enemies or players control or manipulate their way out of it. I feel like we've done a fight, and I can't remember if we have or not, but combats where you guys have been able to charm or manipulate your way out of it.
Our party, I don't think we've done that yet. The only time I can think of for our party is whenever that troll was giving up.
Yeah.
And then we stopped.
Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of spellcasters, so we don't really get to explore much of the issue of utilizing control-based spells.
But that did happen in my campaign a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because combat isn't damage. We are doing a combat because a conflict has occurred. And what at least I've been able to explore in my campaign, which I've been excited about, is that rarely, realistically, is combat to the death. Is like actual real life conflict, to the death, one of us will die. Usually at a certain point, most creatures, if they're not abominable horrors,
are going to run away.
Are going to run away or stop fighting.
Or, yeah.
Rarely do creatures fight to the death if they know they are losing. Same with people. Most people won't throw their lives away for an alley skirmish or some bar fight that turns too rough. Even fights against like real life enemies, not real life, but like actual enemies, like, oh, you're fighting a wizard and a warlock and a paladin, like a lot of those people, unless they hold like I want to say soul crushing grudges, but like unless they hold actual warrants to kill you, most people will try to flee or talk their way out of shit when it gets really bad for them, which we've explored a lot of.
Yeah.
The troll incident you talked about was a more sentient, intelligent troll. The party killed a couple of its allies, and then once it almost died, it essentially stopped fighting and kind of begged for its life.
We were about to chase it down.
Yeah, you guys spared it, and then we had another moment where you fought an owlbear that once it hit a certain point of HP, it fled because it's not going to risk its life just for something that's actively killing it. I attempted to do it with our last big boss fight, a cleric who was with two of our party members.
It was not going to stand.
No, but just because I know it's not going to happen doesn't mean she's not going to try.
Which is very fair.
Her and her two other party members burned down village. They were hunting the party. But her other two party members died. And so she was the last one left. She's a cleric. She knows she fucked up. But you're going to try to save yourself in those instances.
Absolutely. And it led to a very emotional story beat.
The party does kill her, but...
I was not letting that stand.
But that's the exciting part, is that it's not just... I don't know. I feel like another conversation of just how sometimes we as DMs deal with combat as just being a number crunch thing, and there's no story element unless it's the monologue in the beginning with monologue at the end, and then everything in between is just, well, what are you doing? Roll dice. Okay, how much damage is it? Next person. And then So I've been trying to, in this campaign, deal more with monsters that have a higher CR rating, but don't deal with damage specifically.
Yeah.
You know, what happens when the monster does utilize control abilities or spells? You know, what happens when half the party is charmed or commanded or taken out of the fight? Do the two other party members continue to fight to the death, or do they try to take a step back and go, holy shit, maybe let's try something different? So it's been a very interesting thing. I think having a fully martial party,
it definitely makes it more interesting having a full martial party.
I do wish we had another spellcaster. It's something I'm not, I'm enjoying what we have. I'm understanding now. I see what we're missing also, which is a full, almost, I guess it doesn't even have to be arcane, because like a cleric or a wizard, warlock, sorcerer.
We're just missing a full caster.
Yeah, not even a warlock. Yeah, we're just missing a full caster. Because our druid is they are technically a full caster. They only took 1 point into rogue, so they're 4 levels druid. They just don't play druid as a caster really, which is honestly fine. I love that.
They're more of a thief druid, which is
they're more of a wild shape, kind of get your way in. The spells they do use are like to help themselves in combat or to like manipulate the battlefield for themselves, either get out or
like Lawn Strider, or big, Feral Leaf or whatever.
Yeah. So a part of me is like, I want to know what this campaign would start being like if we had a full caster, if we had someone that was a cleric or that was a wizard.
Kill me off, I'll play more.
I'm not going to kill anyone
off.
I know. That's like, we don't need one.
But no, it is fascinating that we all basically came with this concept of martial.
Yeah. Because even our druid, essentially till the day we started playing, was towing druid, rogue, maybe warlock. Like, they were so indecisive of what they wanted to play.
For sure.
And I kind of pushed them more spell casting because I was like, we already have a lot of martial. If you play another martial, then I'm worried about like balancing in general. If we just have no spell casting, then it can get a little interesting.
It can get a little interesting, but that's also where like the spell scrolls and the magic items have come in clutch.
So that's another thing to explain. This is a tangent because we moved away from monster like balancing.
But this goes into like what our topic kind of
is. That's true.
It's basically just like balancing for D&D games.
Yeah,
it's kind of what this topic is.
We might rename it CR balancing, and what else?
CR balancing and tangents.
But that's a great thing actually to think about, is that CR isn't just enemies.
What?
You also need to balance your party members CR wise too, because you don't want theoretically a 4 CR5 monsters that are super weak and low leveled, aka you guys. You don't want the opposite though, which is they're gods in armor because you've given them so much magic items and so much everything that you can't throw anything at them. You have to balance your party member out so that way you can balance your monsters out in a way that they fit each other and don't have this balance. Because I think where we see culturally CR really fail is when DMs don't balance their party members out and they go, oh, here are 4 very rare weapons that deal a shit ton of damage. You guys all have +3 magic focuses and +1 armors, and then go, oh, why isn't the CR4 monster, which
performing
is
well,
calculated to be deadly, performing well? It's like, because you theoretically have 4 CR9 monsters fighting a CR4 one. Like, they have to balance each other out.
For sure. It's why I was perfectly fine with giving you guys a bunch of powerful magical items, because I knew that, like, I know how I build my encounters. They're tough encounters.
Oh, that's something else I wanted to talk about. Literally about that. You build your encounters in a very interesting way, which is very common if you do a 1 VNE thing, which is 1 monster. Usually they deal 1 attack or 1 to 2 attacks with a lot of damage, and they have a lot of health.
Yes.
I think our final boss was, 2,000 HP?
Something around there.
Something around there.
But you guys dealt, 400 HP in a round if you guys...
Well, it's because it's one enemy.
Yeah.
Which, that's a very different feeling boss fight, which is... There's really... In a weird sense, there's really no use for AoE, for control, because you just have one monster. Casting Crown of Madness on an enemy to attack its friend, that's out of the gate. Spells that manipulate the battlefield could work, but when you're dealing with one creature, typically you have it sitting on the map, and then the rest of the party surrounding them, and then it's just a war of attrition, see who will survive longer.
That's why I like to give my monsters a lot of mobility options as well, is so they could have ways to get away from you guys if they needed to. They were the ones who had more control in AoE than you guys usually did.
Yeah.
But that's mostly because like you said, I built a lot of one monster encounters because I really enjoy that kind of war of attrition boss fight. I kind of like that grind. And because to me it's I'm putting the challenge of can your party handle something like this,
and it lets, like you said before, it lets the enemies or the boss kind of flip the script and go, I am dealing utility and control based things because there isn't, you're not dealing it with me because there's not 6 of my enemies, there's just 1 of me. And I'm against 5 people, or 6. I think we had 6 of them. I can't remember how many members we had in Campaign 3. I think there was 5.
Something around there.
It was me.
I think it was 5. Yeah, you guys had 5 party members.
So it was
it was...
No names.
It was... No, I'm going character names.
Okay.
It was Amistria, it was Shoko, it was Amana, it was Sylvana, and Nim. And Nim, yeah.
So yeah, it was very fun to have those control-based things of either you're controlled, you're removed, or the battlefield has been edited in a certain way that forces us to do things. And I prefer doing the opposite, which is much more enemies, letting them have a normal amount of HP, because 2,000 is not normal. I think a Tarrasque only has 400.
No. None of that is normal.
Yeah. But it's necessary if you do any amount of a 1v blank.
Yeah.
Because, like you said before, a party, if focused on one target, can output
400
insane amount of damage and almost take anything.
I mean, you guys, with multiple, there were multiple times where Nim did 100 damage just by himself.
Yeah.
And Amana did 100 and something damage by himself. So it was I have to have my HP ridiculously fucking high because any other monster that I would throw would just be one-shotted.
Tarrasque have 700, so.
Yeah, so it's not out of the realm.
That's CR 30.
Yeah.
CR 30.
Yeah.
And we were, level 12? 12 party members?
Yeah. You guys did great, though.
No, we did.
Yeah.
That's my issue I have sometimes with CR, is that I think CR works best when it is with a group of enemies. I don't think CR really performs well when it's just one monster.
I agree.
Because it doesn't deal with damage output, it doesn't deal with HP. Yes, my one CR monster might be able to do 60 points of damage in a turn, but if I can only target one person, I can only do that much damage to one person, and I've got 4 more other people doubling that right back at my monster.
Yeah.
So I prefer multiple monsters, which has worked really well for this group. It focuses people's attention from the main enemy. When we did the rat folk and the cleric we talked about previously.
Yep.
Sagwe, Deven, and Jova.
Because we had to deal with those orcs that were...
There was about, I think, 12 orcs. So I was I've not edited their health in a way that is overpowered. I rolled Sagwe's health based off of a rogue's class. Every single person had a rolled normal amount, 4th to 3rd level health pool. I didn't give them like, oh, I want him to live longer, so I'm going to give him an extra 20 or 40. I rolled 3 dice because he was a level 4 rogue, and that was his HP. Same with she was a level 4 cleric, and he was a level 3 fighter. So I was like, I know I need more because Nathaniel, our barbarian, could one-shot any of those people if he's given the chance.
And it was a good combat.
So I threw in essentially 12 orcs, not all at you guys. I think the most you guys
were very
were
spread
like
out.
3 or 4 at a time. But the environment is also something I want to touch on. It is a great way to balance a party or an enemy encounter by using environment.
For sure.
If you want a really deadly boss fight, give your allies a environment that leans more towards them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if this boss fight is big, slow, but hits like a fucking semi-truck, give them a lot of cover, give them a lot of high ground, and say, hey, I know, like in your head when you're planning, I know this boss fight is going to be incredibly deadly, but I've given you the tools to hopefully balance that edge out. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. If you know your party members are super deadly right now, like I knew, planning this fight, I had to give this 3 team, because it was a 3v4, so it was already too low, but I was like, I've got to give them more to help balance this fight out. So I gave them a bunch of Orkans, and in a sense, like all terrible cooking, when you add too much one thing, you try to add too much of the next thing, and then but that's what I've done purposefully. Here's 12 Orkans, okay, to balance that out, here's a couple Dragon Guard members, and then, okay, I still feel like that's not, oh, we have a Minotaur person I've talked about in camp, so it's a great way of building it.
For sure.
And that sort of becomes the art form of combat encounters, it's that fine-tuning of, okay, is 12 orcs too much, but I have 4 Dragon Guards and a Minotaur Barbarian. I feel like that's too little now. Do I add more orcs? And then all of that changes when you start adding magical items into your party members, into your enemies.
Terrain.
Health potion, terrain. Like, I knew going into that, Sagwe and those orc fights was more leaning towards you guys. You guys were pretty powerful. So, in that same way I just said, they started the combat encounter up with a lot of high ground, very spread out, so you guys couldn't just steamroll them. You had to pick and choose, and then you guys were just being pelted by arrows from the roofs. Yeah. So, it's... environment is also, like I said before, a great way to help balance your party members out. And I've seen a lot of insane combat encounters that have been incredibly fun because they deal with the environment. I mean, one of my favorites, still to this day, I've got 2. It's the, I can't remember his name. It's Campaign 2 of Critical Role, the Aboleth they fight.
It's not an Aboleth. I know what you're talking about, though. I can't remember what the thing is called, but it does come from the Astral Sea, and it, like, collects treasure, and it, like, lived in this watery volcano, you know?
Yeah. I started with a V. Critical...
It was something. It's really fucking cool. It was a cool-ass fight.
I thought he was an Aboleth.
He's not an Aboleth. Aboleths are...
Maybe I'm thinking of Aboleth from your campaign.
My campaign was an Aboleth. That was our final boss, was this godlike Aboleth that was the patron of... Which I am so glad I got to do finally, because there have been 2 separate occasions where I've had an Aboleth as a patron. Mm-hmm. But it just never went anywhere because those campaigns never went anywhere.
Yeah.
You know? So it was so... glad I finally was able to pull off this is the Aboleth patron that I really want now.
Vokodo needs a more Koth.
Yes.
Vokodo's combat encounter, I still think about to this day, not only for the sense that Matt just
did a great job.
Really just slayed with that encounter, and the funny thing of him using aquarium plants, which is so cool. Vokodo. But I just remember that encounter being one that was incredibly deadly. The water was burning them alive. Vokodo could do crazy amounts of shit, but the party was so smart with planning out like potions of water breathing and like other things.
And it helped that they met Vokodo before they did the fight, you know, so they can kind of plan around that.
Not voodoo.
But Vokodo, I remember one of the scariest things about Vokodo was he had this like innate ability to roll, and if he rolled successfully, repel back any spell that that the people cast on him.
And that's a very common. I find that a very common abomination. Not abomination. What are they called?
Aberrations.
Aberration kind of thing is mindfuckery and just spell repulsion.
Yep.
I'm so out of this world, your magic can possibly not work.
Which was why Caleb's
his disintegration. Oh my god.
Was the scariest fucking thing at that time.
Yes.
Was because he wasn't paying attention, and Matt was just like, "What are you doing, Caleb?" And he was like,
disintegrate ray.
Yeah.
Boing!
It worked.
It worked.
Thank God it worked.
Because it would have.
Because there was a moment where, I remember there was an interview where Caleb was talking about that moment specifically, and, not Caleb, Liam. He was talking about that moment specifically with what was going on, and Liam was just like, there was a moment where I was just like, oh God, oh no. But then I realized it was out of my hands entirely once I said it. So I just, at a certain point, just stopped panicking and just was watching curiously to see
at that
what
point
was
it's
going
just
to happen.
Story.
Yeah.
You can't it's that perfect, beautiful moment.
Because he was like, I could try to, be like, oh, I take it back, but that's not really how our game has ever worked.
Like, you said you were casting it, that's the moment where it's slow-mo, like, and like seeing it reflect. But yeah, I remember that encounter was so challenging.
And then Matt was like, oh man, if that would have worked, I originally thought about, like, killing Caleb with his own disintegration ray or something like that. But then I was like, what would be the one that would really hurt the party if I just killed them? Like, Jester.
I don't want to think about what that campaign would have been without Jester, because I don't...
It would not have not worked.
I don't think it would have worked. I think the
Jester
campaign,
was such the heart of that party.
It would have... I think that whole campaign would have fallen. I know
it would have fallen apart.
Laura probably would have made another character that could have been good. If we lost Jester, everything would have been fallen.
Mm-hmm.
So that was I think about it all the time. And of course, I'm still talking about camping to a Critical Role, because we can talk about our own things, but there's not... If anyone is listening to this, you can't really understand the same feeling.
Mm-hmm. An actual play allows you to actually see what's going on.
Yeah.
Than it is just us talking about what we've gone through.
Because we've had great combat encounters.
Oh, yeah.
Really nothing we could say much on a pod to be like... This is an example.
Oh, there was a few times where I was like, oh shit, this might be a TPK in my campaign. Where I was like...
I've gotten close to it. The Sagwe's fight was close to a TPK because he played smart. Yeah.
Sagwe, I legit was like... I thought Sagwe was going to be a TPK. Like, there was a full last moment where I was
like... He would not have
like, killed you guys. It would probably have been captured.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a full last moment where I was like, we're not winning this.
Oh, yeah. That one. I know the Infernal Guardians was kind of close because you guys played a little dumb.
Infernal Guardians. Oh!
Nathaniel's Wings.
Yeah. Well, that was because that would have been fine if we didn't get caught.
True, not much of really would have happened because you guys wouldn't be able to really surprise them.
No, that's fair, but we would have had like better footing and everything.
You guys started
on rafters. So we started in a pretty bad position. Yeah. But if we didn't get caught, we would have had better footing, and then it would have been a much easier fight for us. But even then, we used that height advantage to our advantage as well.
Kind of. They flew a lot, though.
They flew a lot, but I remember specifically, who was it? Fleabag casting command on the dude and making him drop his weapon.
That was like story
down, and then we were like, "Yeah, how do you like it?"
Because he had the two-handed maul, so it was like, oh fuck. But anyways, that the Vokodo fight I will always remember, and my favorite fight of campaign 2 of all. I have two of them. The first fight with the Laughing Hand.
Ooh, yeah.
The temple where
they take over Yasha.
That fight just set the precedence of that arc and the next arc or two so strongly.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like that one for its encounter more often, because I felt like it was purposefully not balanced towards the party's favor. I think Matt wanted them to run away, and it showed very easily.
Because he also needed a way for Ashley Johnson to not be in the campaign for a little bit. So it worked out beautifully.
It worked greatly. Story-wise and actually balancing-wise, the ending where Ashley is, Yasha's gained back. The last fight with the laugh.
That fight. The last fight with the... what is this fucking name? I know the Angel of Irons.
That's the Cole.
Cole.
What was the fucking...
Oh god, what is his name? Fucking Orabrat? No.
Orabrat?
I was gonna say Orabrask, but that's definitely not it.
Lucian? No.
No, Lucian is the final fight.
Yeah. Oh, I have it. Give me a quick second.
Fucking...
Gillian, Lorenzo. No, Lorenzo was... Oh.
Lorenzo was crazy.
Yeah, Lorenzo was crazy. The Laughing Hands became... Canonically... Starts with an O.
It does start with an O.
Oban.
Oh,
shit, I just guessed it.
Yeah, Oban.
I was like, Oban. Yeah, Oban's... That is such...
That's a good fight.
A great fight. And it was... I know there was a lot of, aids, enemy aids, and I think there was a couple ally aids, but maybe that was just towards the end. But it was a lot of great utilization of spells. I think about that fight all the time, because it's just the balance of it felt so perfect.
If I can talk about a fight that's not Campaign 2, but actually Campaign 1, that I think was incredibly well done.
Let's see if I know it.
The Kevdak fight.
Yes.
That fight was so... Because it was the first, real tough fight for that party.
Grog almost dies.
Grog fully almost dies.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Grog getting that final hit on Kevdak, would that fight have continued and probably wiped out the rest of that party? Because it was
bad.
It was a rough fight.
Because I think that fight ends, obviously, when they kill Kevdak. I don't think they kill... I'd have to go back and see how much of the actual other Goliaths they kill. Because I think when Kevdak dies, they're all like, alright, we're done. And then it kind of is
it had to be Grog for them to do that. Which that final hit. Oh.
Yeah.
But
coming out of the gem.
Yeah.
And then fucking just free falling. And
just fucking boom. Fucking bisecting him.
Yeah.
But the reason why I love that fight so much, other than the Kevdak stuff, because wild.
Yeah.
That was the first time I fully saw the party on the back foot. There was the Briarwoods before, but that was because Vax had some problems and stuff like that. That was the first time I legit saw them on the back foot trying to catch up with the rest of what was going on. And then legit, if Grog didn't pull it off, they would have lost.
Yeah.
Because they were not killing the Goliaths fast enough. The Goliaths were taking them down.
It's all just barbarians.
It was just all barbarians.
Matt does something that I enjoy very much, and we really see two forms of combat, I think, from him. One is the chase into something you don't see. That's the Briarwoods, it's Oban, and I know there's more examples, but we just mentioned those two, so I'll talk about those two. Both the Briarwoods and the Oban fights were them running into something they didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And that's what the first real encounters, the whole acid pit for the Briarwoods.
Yep,
was them just rushing into things, not knowing, but not having other choice other than just being like, we have to go.
Yeah.
What I really loved about the Vokodo and Kevdak's fight is they knew the danger, they had time to plan, prepare, and they were the ones going into the fight knowing it was going to be a fight.
Yep.
Whether they were, like Kevdak, the most prepared, that's not really the most important thing, but there's that kind of two combat encounters is does the party know they're fighting something? They have time to plan for it. They understand the danger of what it is, and so they can, at times I feel like it feels better for a party member. Or is it them rushing down the hall, setting every trap, and that's what's taking them out? And when they fight the boss, maybe the boss isn't so deadly because they've been kind of whittled away a little bit.
Or maybe they are still as deadly, and they just
you were
got
like,
to
you
deal with
fucked
it.
up. You should have been better. Because I know we've done a few fights where you guys have been sort of chasing something. The Iron Cage, the fighting rink. You guys were not really... You guys were knowing you were going into a fight, but just an underground fight pit. And you guys essentially got caught in a trap.
Yeah, and that was...
Because you guys were kind of just going.
That was fun. I think one for my campaign that I really enjoyed was the Colosseum fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Where... That was made to be like, you don't know really what you're fighting.
Yeah, because we were just trying to join a guild, and they were like, you have to fight the Colosseum.
Well, it was a Monster Hunters guild, and it was like, we're not just going to accept any schmuck with an axe coming in, I have Paul's axe, and I really want to join the Monster Hunters, It's like, no, you're going to have some kind of experience fighting these things, so we're going to put you in an arena with these things that we normally fight.
Yeah.
Good luck.
It makes sense, but, we've never experienced... At least our characters never joined a guild, and so let alone...
No, this was the first, I think, real guild any of our campaigns have actually dealt with.
So having them join and being like, oh shit, oh fuck. And the opposite, the fight with Lord Dren. That was a fight we knew we were going into. We got to plan for it. We got to prepare our second to last boss fight.
I did not make it easy getting there though.
No, but it's that's I think. The difference in those fights is does the party know, or are they running into a fight? They may know of, you're like, oh, I know we're going to be fighting, the Briarwoods or something like that. But the journey there is really, I think, the most deadly part, because the Briarwood fight for me is okay. I really enjoyed the pre-setup before they get to the fight. That chase there, the chase up the temple, that is what I remember more of. And it's the small skirmishes as they stop along the way, slowly whittling resources down.
Yeah, the Briarwood fight itself was good, but not that crazy. Again, that's the Quebec fight is whenever I, as a viewer, because I was following along episode by episode at that point. As a viewer, I was like, oh god, are they going to live?
Yeah.
I was so scared for the party. And I never cheered harder than when Grog got that final hit. They were screaming their heads off, and I was in my living room by myself because my parents were out of town, just screaming that it worked. I was so happy.
But, so, to, I think, end this episode, I want to do a small recap.
For sure.
CR is not to define a combat.
No.
It is used to be a guideline. It is used to help you search for monsters or enemies if you don't know what you're wanting your party to fight. But CR is also a great way to help you rebuild monsters. If you really like a stat block in a certain creature, but you're planning, if you really like a Fey kind of stat block, but you're building an Aboleth, look at CRs from the same level, both monsters, and see if you can find a way of, creating a new creature or editing a creature that fits that same CR.
I agree. Use CR as a guideline, and then be creative with whatever you are wanting, because your idea for whatever monster you're wanting to do is probably going to be better than what's in the book.
Absolutely. The book stat blocks, some of them are great.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them are really good, and some are really good bases. A lot of them are pretty boring. A lot of them are just, here's a bite attack, here's a claw, here's a weapon attack, and then maybe one ability that they get. It's a recharge, or it's some innate feature like, spider climbing kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Play around with it. Feel, what was my other thing? Take into account that magic items and environment does calculate in CR also. That's why there's, when you look up classic monsters like liches, they have 2 CR ratings.
Yep.
One outside of a layer and one inside of a layer. a giant fish that lives in a volcano is not going to be as deadly if you fight him in a pool compared to his molten volcano. So
take layers into account, take environment into account.
Yeah. Plan weaker monsters if you want to play with a really cool layer or a cool environment.
Don't be afraid. I will also say this: don't be afraid to have your party steamroll your monsters as well.
Oh yeah,
because it can make them feel like the most badass of badasses, and sometimes that can help your party feel like they are actually a good party.
And personally, this is advice for me, not for me, but advice from me. If the party starts to steamroll, don't start editing the stat block mid-combat. If they're lucky, if they're doing good, like you just said, let it happen. You know, I know it's tempting to be like, oh, these only got 80 HP and they just did 40 points in the first round of damage. Don't add another 0 or another 1 onto that number. Let it be it. Just say, you guys did it, it was great.
You were smart.
You were smart. Understand, as a DM, hey, if this was supposed to be a really powerful boss, what did I do wrong? Was it not enough damage? Well, if they're steamrolling him, there needs to be then probably more enemies. There needs to be more aids for him. So they're not all doing damage to him. He needs to be behind a wall of people kind of thing.
Yeah. Trust me, as a person who has ran many games at D&D, who has had this exact problem.
Oh, we steamrolled our campaign 1 final boss.
Yeah.
It was like a walk in the park. We bitch smacked his ass.
You wouldn't have if I didn't add the radiant damage buffer, which I only added because people were like, this seems way too powerful. And
he probably would have been. He probably would have TPK'd us without it. But that's the good balance of, And it's all learn and live. Because I've had a couple boss fights where you guys have just absolutely steamrolled them, and I've just been like, damn. My final boss fight in the summer campaign, the Lord of the Rings one, you guys just almost completely steamrolled his first phase.
For sure.
And I was like, damn. Well, second phase, and then you guys... Because once he lost his first phase, once he lost all of his spells and his control, and it just became a battle of damage, you all steamrolled him again. And I was like, damn!
Our party does good damage.
Yeah, every party does good damage.
Yeah.
It's rare to find a D&D party that is not good damage.
Yep.
Which is what I've enjoyed with this campaign, Dragon Realms. It's been a mix of both. You guys have had some really difficult boss fights. You guys have also done really well. And some encounters are just a little bit difficult enough to make you guys feel good. I think the Pool Husk fight, no one really, I don't think, went down. It was challenging enough. It was, I think, a 3-on-4. He dealt enough damage, but you guys felt confident enough. You were able to get him down enough.
I loved that Pool Husk fight. I didn't do a whole lot of attacking in that fight, but that was mostly because I was learning about it, and then I summoned my skeleton bro.
Oh my god.
And it was great.
Yeah.
And he did work.
He did. With 13 HP, he survived.
For whatever reason, that skeleton is MVP, and I totally forgot about our talk about getting him armor and stuff. Because now that I remember that, hell yes, I need to do that for him.
I mean, you could possibly take the armor because you have armor, but then you bought new armor to enchant, so you could just take your old one.
No, I want to give him heavy plate armor because
we'll balance it out some more.
Because his dex and stuff isn't great. He's a normal skeleton.
Yeah.
So I want him to actually be a tank.
Yeah.
He'll still have no matter what, he's still gonna have
he's got 13 HP.
So
just plate armor and a shield hopefully will make him not hit.
Plate armor and a shield and a big ass hammer. It's just something he needs.
I want him to have a war pick.
War picks don't do a lot of damage though.
Well, he can only one hand though. He can't do a big ass hammer if he's got a shield.
You can do a war hammer.
That's only a D6, I think. Or D8.
It's a D8.
I think war picks around the same.
I thought they were D4s.
Oh wow! Thanks D&D Beyond. Not telling me what it's called, what the damage is.
War picks. I'm thinking one-handed is a D4, and then two-handed is a D6. War picks are not much.
Okay. D&D Beyond. Can you tell me the damage of this? Oh no, D8s.
Is it a D8?
Yeah. Yeah. War picks are the giant not scythe, but instead of a slashing knife, a piercing.
Mhm.
It's usually
It's a pick.
it's a huge fucking pick. Can't be two-handed, but it's just metal spike.
Nice.
Yeah, I want him to have something like that where he just like I almost want like an armor shredder.
Yeah.
Where it's just like just pierce through the fucking plate armor.
He's got like
someone.
20 AC and he's just like, piercing the armor. And then, but when he finally does get hit, he's just out. He's gone.
Yeah, I want the like, he can never get hit, and then the dragon just turn to him, and it's just breath weapon, and then the fire stops, and it's just a molten pile of metal, and it's like, no,
my boy.
But yeah, that's all for me.
Yep.
CR, I think is great, and I think the more you play and the more you get experience of it, the less you use it because that stuff comes intuitively.
For sure.
But for new DMs, use it as a guide. Look at other monsters and CRs, see the balancing, because that's how you get better, at least in my eyes. Understanding, a CR4 monster does around this much damage. CR5s, 8s, 9s, this is sort of the range of things.
And it seems like a lot to get, for newer DMs, it seems like a lot to keep track of, and is it necessary, and blah, blah, blah. Trust me when I say you're going to enjoy it at some point to be like, oh, this is the type of monster I want. But this stat block sucks, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to take this, I'm going to add this, and then the terrain's here, and they got this magic weapon, but I got this magic weapon to give, and like, you're going to, once you really learn how your party works, how the balancing works and everything, you're going to have so much fun just building monsters.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like I said before, the mini I just bought, the big one, I'm looking at a whole different creature category.
I'm so excited.
Because the creature category I was like, this is so fucking boring. And I have an idea of what I want, so I'm looking at monsters that tend to go that route.
I think I have an idea what it could be.
What do you think?
I'm thinking it's going to be, we're in a sewer.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to sound weird.
This is not the sewer monster.
Oh, interesting.
I already have the sewer monster.
Understood. It could be anything. I really like the idea of you messing around with a shambling mound. Like, those
are fun. I see them often, but it's kind of just one of those like,
Like I could see you messing around with a shambling mound and making it really cool.
What CR are they? What's the CR? Who's that Pokemon? Guess the CR.
9.
Way too high.
Really? 4?
Shambling mounds are plants?
Yeah, they're plants.
Interesting. There's 5. So that's about what you guys can do now. I mean, yeah. See, okay. This is a great example of what we talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
A large plant-based creature, CR5, decently deadly. It's got a multi-attack, so it can slam twice. And then its 2 interesting things is it's got an engulf ability, which is kind of common. I feel like a lot of creatures can kind of engulf.
I gave that to a lot of creatures, to be fair.
It's true. So it's got a melee attack, a swallow ability, and the only other thing this CR5 creature has is lightning absorption.
Yep.
Like,
I think it's also vulnerable to fire?
No.
No. Oh.
It's got 2 condition immunities. It's got resistance to cold and fire, immunity to lightning, and a bunch of condition immunities.
Hell yeah.
No fucking creature's ever vulnerable to anything.
Which I think is bullshit.
I think it's bullshit. I am so excited to play more around with vulnerability.
I hope so.
But yeah. Anyways, that's all for me.
And that's all for me.
We will see each other technically in 5 minutes, but next week.
Next week.
Bye-bye.